Welcome to another Point 5 episode of TMI, where we take a secondary feature that we've covered in the past and present it on its own. And this time around, we are revisiting some of my childhood trauma with the movie Tourist Trap. This was originally covered in episode number 74 with the original Ready or Not. So if you want to listen to the whole thing, by all means, go back and listen to episode number 74. But if you're only in it for Tourist Trap, get comfortable, pull up the covers to your chin, and let's take a visit to Slosson's Oasis with Tourist Trap.
TMI. Confessionals of the Nerd Con. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerfherder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker.
Our classic feature this week is something that I saw many times on WOR on Saturday afternoons, on the Saturday afternoon movie, put there by probably some very mean-spirited programming.
I can't imagine watching this as a kid.
I can't
Saturday afternoon. This is just so over the top.
I don't remember the first time I saw this, but I saw it at least 4 or 5 times.
And once you watch it, you can't unwatch it.
No.
It's forever seared in your brain.
And just like Beware the Blob, whenever it came on, regardless of my feelings about it, I had to watch it. It was a date with destiny. And, it's kind of like when you sit in the dentist chair and you kind of resign yourself. Okay, I'm here. Do whatever you got to do. I'm going to take it. That's kind of the same mentality that I had watching this movie. Maybe it was to face my fear, but I never conquered it because this thing always haunted me from that day that I saw it, and I've never been able to get over it. So fast forward a couple of decades, and this movie came out in 1979, and it made the TV rounds probably starting in 1980, 81, and that's when I would see it. Probably every 6 months they would run it on WOR. And again, can you just imagine somebody rubbing their hands together at the TV station? Oh, I'm going to lay something on these kids. And your parents, it's on broadcast TV. They don't think anything of you watching something that's on. Oh, it can't be that bad. It's on TV. No.
Right, it's on the afternoon.
No.
Yeah. This is traumatizing.
And it's not a bloody movie. It's not a gory movie by any means. But it's extremely disturbing.
It is extremely disturbing.
In the visuals alone, it is disturbing.
Yeah, even and it wastes no time. It gets right into the guts of what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm surprised that Mike even made it through this.
I made it to like the last 5 minutes, so someone has to.
Oh, that's right. You did say
what happened to Molly. Just someone has to. Whatever we do, someone has to.
We'll get into that. We will get into that. We'll keep Mike in suspense as what happens to Molly.
I think when I was shocked that Tanya Roberts was in it, so I'm like, this is a huge plus for me from the Beastmaster. And once she met her demise, I sort of started to lose interest rapidly.
That was it. Yeah, she was looking damn good. Brunette with a little tank top on.
Yeah, they do actually have the foresight to keep her involved until probably the last 15 minutes or so. Fast forward from the early 80s into, say, around 1999, 2000, and I used to work at Walden Books in the Poughkeepsie Galleria with a bunch of like-minded horror fans, and we would get together often after work on Friday nights at somebody's house and pull an old horror movie for the group of us to laugh over it, much like a Mystery Science Theater, kind of get up and, talk back to the screen, the whole 9 yards. And we watch stuff like Beware the Blob, Gargoyles, all these old movies that you remember seeing as a kid. Legend of Boggy Creek was a big one. Snow Beast was a big one. And this one, Tourist Trap. So this awoke many a memory as we were watching it. And there wasn't a lot of call, even though there were 5 of us watching it, it was very silent. I remember when we were watching, we just traded stories about how this thing traumatized us. And so Jen was part of that Walden Books gang. And she also saw it as a kid on WOR. And when we started this podcast, I would get notes from her from time to time. When are you going to do Tourist Trap? When are you going to do Tourist Trap? And I always say, I don't know about Tourist Trap. I don't think I can, that will pass muster from the other two. So she finally sent in an official request. We could not deny it.
Oh, is that all it takes?
No, I would draw a line because I know that Tourist Trap isn't as bad as some movies can get. So we watched it, and I've introduced Mike and Jeff now to my trauma. Now, I think this is a bit more serious in terms of trauma than Beware the Blob was. That was more of like, I saw that younger than I saw this one. This haunts you, I think, as an adult. I think, as Jeff can attest to, as just from the texts that I got from him after he watched the movie.
Well, if you're going to have scary mannequins, this is the way to do it because their mouths unhinge, which just is, they're stupid plastic things, but yeah.
Also, this has a pretty big pedigree because it's got a recommendation from Stephen King himself in his nonfiction work, Dance Macabre.
Braise silent.
Because in the trailer that we just played, they actually say macabre. So,
oh, do they? Oh, well.
So I was like, have I been pronouncing it wrong all these years? But even on the DVD box, they have the quote snippet from this book. And so Stephen King himself says, while Chuck Connors is miscast, and he kind of is.
Yes. He's a poor man's Jack Palance. They couldn't get Jack Palance.
That's funny because they actually went to Jack Palance.
No.
They did.
Really?
Can you imagine Jack Palance?
Yeah, no, he would be a hell of a lot scarier.
Even though he is miscast, the film wields an eerie, spooky power. Wax figures begin to move and come to life in a ruined, out-of-the-way tourist resort. There are a number of effective atmospheric shots of the dummies' blank eyes and reaching hands, and the effects are effective. So even Stephen King gave it a shout-out in this book.
I will say that especially the effects were pretty impressive.
Yeah. But again, it's not a bloody movie. So the setup is these kids who are looking for a friend of theirs who you see killed in the opening scene of this movie.
Like literally 5 minutes in, he loses his tire.
He breaks down, leaves his girlfriend at the car, and he takes the tire and he goes to find help to fix his flat tire. And he finds an abandoned gas station. So he goes in, and it looks like it's been recently abandoned because there's a bar with chips, and there's still signs up as to what everything costs. And he hears a little giggling coming from the back room. Now that in itself, I think you're out of there. First thing.
Yeah, no. I definitely would have picked up a 55-cent can of beer, though. It's a bargain.
Or, bag of chips or something.
All that and a bag of chips. Then I'm out of there.
So he goes in the back, and he sees a mannequin under a blanket. Thinks it's a real person, which anybody in their right mind would not think it's a real person. And then, of course, the door shuts on him. He's in the back room, and then mannequins start coming through the windows, come out of the closet. Everybody's laughing at him. And those mannequins, for the first time, open their mouths in an unhinged way. That's probably the spookiest visual. All the mannequins do that.
All but Kim Cattrall.
But did you notice that all the doors were locking from the inside? So trying to get out would only go just unlock the door.
But you got to think that this guy, not only does he have awesome mannequin making skills, but he also has telekinesis, apparently. So,
which, is never really explained.
No.
You just kind of go with it.
And that was an addition from the producers of the movie. That never was in the initial drafts of the script, the telekinesis angle. So they thought that the movie needed something else, so they insisted that go in there, I think because Carrie had come out recently. So Woody gets killed by these mannequins. You never see who's controlling them, but you do hear somebody mumbling. Really, it reminded me of the Homer Simpson yummy sound whenever he eats a donut. A sling blade comes to mind as well.
Oh, some people call it a Kaiser blade. I call it a sling blade.
So Woody is dead. Flash over to his girlfriend who's waiting by the car. 3 others come. You have got Jerry, Molly, and Tanya Roberts' character, who I don't know the name of. So
I don't remember either.
They pick up Elaine, who's sitting by the car, and they decide to drive and look for Woody. And that's when they pass Slausson's Lost Oasis signs, which they call out immediately as a tourist trap, but seeing as they don't really have much choice.
It's a trap!
They drive right into the opening gates of Slausson's Lost Oasis. They find a little waterfall, and you think you're going to get some nudity, but nope. You get a tease, but no. Apparently the director, when the skinny dip scene came up,
He was too ashamed. He was too shy to ask him.
He was too shy to ask him to do it. And
that's funny.
It's in the script, but nobody wanted to do it on the day.
Right.
Even though Tanya revealed much more later on in Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, and in Beastmaster, you don't get that here.
No.
But you do get the introduction of Chuck Connors as Mr. Slauson, who happens upon the girls skinny dipping, and it's all done in a very tasteful way, so you never do see anything. They're already in the water when Chuck comes upon them with a rifle in his hand, as a direct reference to his role as the rifleman.
The rifleman.
Yeah. So he invites them back to Slauson's Lost Museum. He leaves with Jerry from the museum, leaves the three girls there among all the mannequins, and that's where the fun begins. He tells them not to go anywhere, not to go into the main house, because that's where Davey lives.
His brother. There you go. One of the girls, of course, can't control herself. Out of curiosity, she does go down to the house and leaves the other two in the museum and runs into Davey, who is living amongst all these mannequins, very creepy mannequins that line the hallways. They're in every room, and they're in one room. Apparently, it's the mother and father of Mr. Slauson as mannequins in the living room. She hears them talking to each other until she opens the door, and then she realizes they're just mannequins. This is part of the strange power of this movie, is just the fact that you don't, as the film goes on and on, it makes less sense, but it's like a nightmare that you can't wake up out of. You know, nothing has to make sense in a nightmare, and that's what watching this movie is. It's like watching somebody's nightmare, and by the end you're so devolved into madness, it's hard to escape the allure of this movie. I don't know if allure is the correct word, but I will say I know that the Pino Donaggio scored this, and he also had scored Carrie. He's pretty well renowned for that. But this soundtrack was like a bunch of sixth grade delinquents raided the band room and just decided to hit the high note of Psycho like over and over again. It was so grating. It was bad. There's
this very gentle theme that plays every time that Slauson talks about his dead wife. So I thought that was a nice little touch.
You've seen it more times than I have, so obviously I didn't pick up on it.
It's like a calliope kind of, like you said, like a children's kind of a theme. And so that's what makes it creepy as well, like the kids singing about 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. That thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we really not know that Davey is Chuck?
No, you do.
Mr. Slauson. I mean, it's like, come on, dude. Yeah, but Davey gets credit in the opening.
Yes, he does. And
credits.
And listening to the director's commentary, that's because they were really trying to throw you off.
Because okay, right.
It's actually
So he does play. I mean, he's channeling his inner Norman Bates here, really.
And he often has Davey. He's wearing some kind of a mannequin's mask.
Like a jowl. He looked like Bruce from The Shark.
Yes, he does.
The jowls.
But that's kind of taken right from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you look at Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's a skin face and with a wig, but it's very similar to what Davey looks like.
Davey, I'll say his wig collection was pretty impressive.
Because as the thing goes on and Davey is stalking these kids, they do take pains to try to make it two characters. You've got Davey and you've got Mr. Slauson. How can he be doing these things if he's the same person? Because often the cuts will be like Davey capturing somebody, and then the next cut will be Mr. Slauson in the museum talking to Molly.
Right.
The next cut will be Davey with Jerry and Tanya Roberts in the basement, and then the cut after that is Mr. Slauson again. So it makes no sense, but it doesn't need to, because it's already got you on this visceral level.
And his motives were kind of ambiguous at first, because he started going on and he was mad about the new highway that bypassed his museum, and now no one ever came to go see it again. But, I mean, come on. You know, the Cars of Radiator Spring, they were mad about the new highway, too. You didn't see Tow Mater try and kill and rape Lightning McQueen.
But as it goes on, you find out that he's got a hidden agenda, that he's harboring the secret that he's killed his wife and his brother. Because
they had an affair.
Yeah. So that's kind of driven him to madness. And you think, has he always had these telekinetic powers? Did the wife know about it? Did the brother know about it? Or did they develop after his madness? So who knows? You never got that tourist trap too, so they could never.
Don't encourage somebody.
Yeah, I don't think a movie like this could come out now. Just like the shoestring that it was made on. It was made by Compass International Pictures, which is the same company that to this day owns the right to the Halloween series.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of it, really?
No, never heard of it.
So again, looking at this as a kid, Davey himself was the stuff of nightmares, from his grumbling voices to all those masks that he had to the wigs, the menagerie of mannequins at his disposal that he could control, the stuff of nightmares for a kid. And again, watching this as an adult, even though I've seen it not hundreds of times, but tens of times, maybe 15 times or so in my lifetime, it still makes me uneasy.
It is a creepy ass freak show. It really is. And like I said, the music is horrific, but that definitely adds to the craziness of it all.
Right.
So what happened to Molly, though?
Oh, so Molly makes it to the end. Jerry does, too, until all of a sudden you find out he's a mannequin. How does he have time to make these people into mannequins?
I know.
Jerry was a fully realized mannequin. All of a sudden he started taking his arms off and his head off, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
So Molly is not a ringer for his wife, but just reminds Slauson of his wife. Now, the character of Molly is like a...
Well, you know she's the virgin because she was blonde, wears white, and had pigtails.
And she had a big sun hat, too. And now...
Yeah.
So what happened to Molly?
So Molly is the virgin amongst two penthouse pets. Well, you wonder how these three girls are even friends. So that's why Slauson has designs on Molly. So he has it in his mind that he's going to marry her and that she's going to live there at the Oasis with him and be good to him. And Molly is aptly horrified. So at the end of the movie, everybody else is dead, turned into mannequins, what have you. Slauson brings Molly up to the attic to marry her with all of his mannequins in attendance.
Because that's where you go when you get married, the attic.
That was his brother's room, and that's, I guess, maybe he wants it to be a cathartic ceremony.
Yeah, and he tried to kiss her. Oh, man, that was creepy.
He takes a death mask of the wife, puts it on Molly's face, and then tries to make out with her at one point during this.
It was... Blah.
So as this is going on, you hear the rattling of the door. Jerry has made a return to rescue Molly and get the other girls and get out of there. So he has an axe. He breaks down the door, much like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, right? He comes in. Slauson is just laughing it up, having a great time, and he's letting Jerry have his moment. And at that point, Molly, who's been the only one of the group to actually take a liking to Slauson before he went nuts, has lost it. Tells Jerry, kill him. So the good girl Molly has now completely turned and gone into insane territory.
There you go. Much like Grace in the first movie.
She's imploring Jerry to kill Slauson, and he's suddenly not moving with the axe in his hand. And she looks at him, and that's where the nightmare fully turns, because she sees that Jerry is under Slauson's spell. Whatever he can do to
right.
Jerry is now in a trance. So Slauson, laughing maniacally, takes Jerry's arm, pulls it off of him, and it's a mannequin's arm.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
He twists Jerry's head, pulls it off.
Takes his head off.
The mannequin's head, and he throws it to the ground, and it shatters, and he just knocks the mannequin's body over. And now Molly has descended into madness. All the mannequins start coming to life and approaching them both. And you see, it's a lot of them are the victims of previous victims of Slauson. It's real people mixed with mannequins, and it reminded me of that Night Stalker episode that we watched.
Yeah,
right.
Because it's the same deal. It's like mannequins, and it's real people interspersed in these shots of mannequins coming at you. And there's one little troll-type mannequin that's really horrifying. But as Slauson is preoccupied with his mannequins, because he picks one up and he starts to dance with it, and they're spinning around the attic, Molly slowly reaches for the axe that Jerry has brought up. And as the mannequins cry out to Slauson to watch out, all the mannequins' mouths open, and one more horrific scene. They're all screaming at the same time. She buries the axe into Slauson's neck.
Nice.
And then Molly completely loses it and screams. And all the mannequins kind of drop to the ground because now that he's dead, he's got no power over them. So the very final scene of the movie is Molly driving the Jeep, and she's found all of her friends, and they're mannequins sitting beside her and behind her.
That's the most messed up scene in the whole. It's a freeze frame. It's just a freeze frame of her driving away in the Jeep with her 5 friends, like all sticking out like they're luggage.
And she's laughing. So it's like she's completely driven insane at the end of the movie, even though that she's survived. So the end scene, and that's the movie. So it is just an endurance test. You just take a breath at the end of the movie and you just kind of ruminate, because the movie sucks you in. You're in the environment of this movie. It's one of those few that totally engrosses you, I think. Now, I'm maybe just talking for myself.
I think the way it's shot, too, it's very claustrophobic the way it's shot. It's a lot of really tight, in that museum, I mean, you're completely surrounded by these mannequins. So, yeah, that adds to the phobia of and it's dark. So, yeah.
And watching this as an adult, it does bring one thing that I didn't catch when I was a kid. There is a total lack of sense, as we mentioned before, but there's also, even more importantly, a total lack of brassieres in this movie.
It was the 70s.
As Mike said, Tanya is very engrossing when she's on screen, but I do not see how that tube top survived. No way that could still be on her during what she's...
Any way we can bring back the tube top.
And we didn't even mention the most horrific scene in this is the suffocation scene.
With
the girl on the table.
Plaster.
Yeah.
With the plaster on her face.
I don't know what kind of plaster he was using, though, but that was...
No, it's revealed in the commentary that it's dough. So that's why it's sticking to his fingers. All it was flour and water, and all she had to do was just blow out of her mouth if she got into trouble. But
it is very unsettling.
Yeah, the director revealed that this was based on his student thesis film, a very truncated version of this, which mannequins come alive. There's a blind man that surrounds himself with mannequins, and they're his only friends. So to him, they are real, and that's basically what his student thesis was. So when he was making that, he made a couple of casts of his own face. So he knew how the plaster felt. So that whole monologue that Davey gives that poor helpless girl at the table about how the plaster gets hot is actually true because he felt that himself. So he wrote that monologue for Davey. But it's a horrific scene.
Method acting there.
And it's a crescendo of music and the heartbeat sound until it finally happens and her heart bursts and the music stops. And Jerry ineffectively at that moment breaks free of his bonds, and this poor guy, he is just demasculated throughout this movie. And the one scene where he jumps through the window when Slauson finds him in the living room of his house, he might as well have left an outline of his body through the door. He just leaves Tanya Roberts, that's his character's wife.
Yoinks, I'm out of here.
Leaves her there, I'm out of here. And it just runs into the woods. And I think that's probably why he comes back to save Molly, to save face. Poor Jerry put upon during this
Jerry, some assembly required.
And this kind of plays out like a Scooby-Doo episode gone horribly wrong.
Right, like I just said.
Because really,
it's old man Slauson.
It's kind of, it's old man Slauson, but Slauson is the one that wins, not those meddling kids. Yeah, at the end, you've got a Fred mannequin, you've got a Velma mannequin, and a Daphne mannequin, and you've got Scoob driving away.
Scrappy Doo. Let me have at him. Bring in Scooby Dum. Dum 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 dum.
So Jen, I hope you're happy that we.
Jen, I'm not happy. Jen, proud of yourself.
So I've talked enough. So thoughts of this movie from you two?
You've said it all. I don't know what to say. I will tell you this. There was one copy available at my library, and I just got a notification that it's due tomorrow, and they said keep it. They said don't even return it. You're the first person that's rented it in the last 20 years. No, I don't know. This whole week has not been in my wheelhouse. This one was disturbing.
I liked it better than I thought I was going to. So
okay.
There you go.
And Jim on this one.
Now, can either of you imagine watching this as a 10-year-old kid?
No, I think this is horrific. I can't believe my wife watched it with me. She hates these movies.
Did she enjoy it, or?
I don't know if enjoy would be part of the descriptive.
So just some background. This was released in March of '79. John Carpenter was set to direct this originally. Again, same production company as Halloween, but he couldn't come to financial terms with Compass International.
In other words, he wanted to get paid.
Yep. So the directing duties went to the writer, David Schmoller, and he did a good job. $800,000 budget.
That's
$50,000 of which went to Chuck Connors. Now, he was trying to actually sell himself as a Boris Karloff, Christopher Lee of the 80s. And Touristtrap was supposed to be his jumping off point.
I say, he looked like he had fun doing this.
Yeah.
I will give him credit for that, even though, I wrote in my notes, Chuck, you're better than this. But if this was like where he wanted to go.
As Davey, with all that mumbling dialogue, especially that scene where Molly's terrified, with a gun in her hand because Mr. Slauson has picked her up and he's going to put on the radio, and all of a sudden Davey appears.
Right. Yeah, that was
terrifying as Davey. He's convincing.
Yeah. Yeah. He even changed like the way he walks, because I think Slauson walked with a limp.
Slauson had a limp, and then Davey. Right. That was another effort for them to keep a distance between Slauson and Davey character. But again, can you imagine Jack Palance in that role?
No, because that's he would have been even more terrifying.
He would have, and he would have had to have said, "Believe it or not."
No, believe it or not.
And they used a real house as the interior on Hollywood Boulevard. I don't think it was the same house that you see in the exterior shots.
I was going to say the exterior is like in the middle of nowhere.
You know, see that house would be on. I would never be able to live in that house seeing this movie. That would be on a level of the Amityville Horror for me.
Like, yeah, I'll pass.
And the one scene where Tanya Roberts first goes in the house, this is worth noting, that she finds a mannequin in bed with its knees up with a sheet covering it. And the director says that that's supposed to be Slauson's wife, that he does unspeakable things to, which I would have never picked up on unless I watched that commentary. It just makes it even more disturbing.
Ooh. Hello, honey.
Okay, so here we get into the nitty gritty. This movie got a PG rating, which the director could not believe it got a PG rating. They were not aiming for that. But because of that, it hurt it financially in the movie theater, because who's going to want to go to watch a PG-rated horror movie, right? So they didn't get kids and they didn't get horror fans, but that's also a reason why it turned up in TV syndication, is because it had a PG rating. Without the profanity, it pretty much survived uncut in its WOR-TV incarnation, which is how I saw it so many times. Tourist Trap.
There it is. You can't unsee it. You can't unhear this. You can't unhear this episode either.
So how many buckets are we thinking for Tourist Trap?
I'm going 2.5.
2.5.
I'm going solid 3 3/4. I think. 4 with this movie, just because I think
I was going to say you have a history with it, so
it sets out what it wants to do. It really sticks with you, bad or good. I think that it's that's its intent, and it delivers. Tourist Trap. So that leads us to our
confessionals
this week. Now, what was our confessional? How would you like to die, or how would you last in a horror?
I think you could probably tie those two together.
Okay, all right, let's do that then.
All right.
So, okay, say if the three of us were in Tourist Trap, the three of us are in that Jeep, right? And we are looking for maybe Dave. He's the Woody character that has gone off and he's tried to fix the tire. And we are the three that end up in Slauson's Lost Oasis. Who would be the Molly that survives? Who would Slauson most want to marry off?
Listen, if it keeps me alive, I'll be his bitch. He did.
I just wanted to skinny dip.
Even seeing the signs for Slauson's Lost Oasis would be, I'm out of the Jeep and I'm hitchhiking. I'm not going.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no way. Yeah. You know how I die in one of these movies of old age? Because I would run away.
Yeah.
But if I was confronted, I'd be the first to be killed.
Now, how do you think we would want to be killed, though? That's your question.
I said, old age.
Old age, okay.
You can always make new friends, right?
Now, I think I'd probably want to go the Jerry route if I was to choose a death.
Just get dismantled?
I think death by dismantlement is probably preferable.
No, I'd take the hatchet in the back of the head.
Or what about choked out by an ascot? How about that?
No. Well, yeah, we didn't even mention the ascot. It was the 70s.
Yeah, but like Jeff, I think really my most preferred way of death would be at 80 years old.
Talking about it. I remember there was one time I lost 4 friends. Sucks to see them go, but
I wasn't going to give that Slauson a dime of my money.
Damn you, Slauson.
His mannequins were not worth a dime.
At one point, he even says, I got a legal right to that, to like kill people.
He does. That's all Chuck Connors wanted, was to be the new Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
So next week, much to your chagrin, I'm sure, the both of you, we're revisiting the horror genre, and we're watching It Part 2. Pennywise is going to guest star on TMI next week.
Is it called It Part 2?
I think that's what it's called.
It Part 2.
Clever.
Yeah,
I know, right? They really went all out on that one.
In a way, our classic feature is another listener request. My cousin Lauren has long tried to get us to review Killer Clowns from Outer Space, going as far as sending me the Blu-ray as a gift.
That is a gift that keeps on giving, though, because when you guys watch this, it's going to blow Tourist Trap away.
It Part 2, coupled with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, next week here on TMI.
Woohoo!
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yes. Yeah. Bye.
Okay, bye.
We're out.
If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand.
So what happened to Molly?
Some people call it a Kaiser blade. I call it a sling blade.